This is my video on the subcortical structures, and well, you can see the subcortical structures here. I will talk about their relationship to each other, their location, and what are these structures, and I will name them each and every one of them, right? So let's get started. We have got the cortex here, like both hemisphere, right? Just under the cortex, we have the subcortical structures. Now here in the red, these are thalami. The thalamus, two thalami, right? In between the thalami, there is a cavity which is full of CSF, and this cavity is called the third ventricle. The third ventricle is connected to another cavity in our brain, which is also full of CSF, and this cavity is called the lateral ventricles. So here are two, so lateral ventricles, right? And on the lateral to the thalami or the thalamus, there is another structure which is internal capsule. The internal capsule is formed by the fibers, the white matter, coming down from the cortex to the body, or from the body, the brainstem, the spinal cord, upward to the cortex. And there is this triangle shape nucleus, which is called the lentiform nucleus, is a gray matter. It has potamen on the outside, on the lateral side, and it has globus pallidus. The globus pallidus has interna and externa. The medial is interna and the lateral is externa. Very lateral to the this structure is your external capsule. Lateral to the external capsule, you have the claustrum, and very lateral to all these structure is the extreme capsule, and then you have your insula, right? These are pretty much of the structure on the lateral side, but if you go under the thalamus, there is subthalamus, and maybe here somewhere is substantia nigra, and down here under the third cavity or on the forward there is the hypothalamus, and on top here another structure comes all the way here upward, going around, and then here, and the head is here, the body here, the tail, and the amygdala. This is called the caudate nucleus. So I have shown you the caudate nucleus here. On top here we have the fornix, right? So these are pretty much of your subcortical structures and where they lie in your brain. So it is a very helpful diagram to remember. But there is another way you can remember this by this diagram or these structures. So let's imagine, and we can create an imaginary monster, and that will help us to remember all these structures. And that imaginary monster, let's say this is your imaginary monster. So you have a big circle, right? Imagine this as a monster's face. On the monster's face, we will need two big eyes, right? So these two are the thalami, right? The thalami. In between the thalami, we have the another structure or the cavity, which is the nose, and that is the third ventricle here. And on top you have the eyebrows, right? You have the eyebrows, and these eyebrows I'm sorry, so the eyebrows are the lateral ventricles, like you got here, the lateral ventricles. In between the eyes and the lateral ventricles, we will put another structure let's say the caudate's body or the caudate nucleus. On top of the eyebrows, we will put the structure to remind us of the fornix, right? The fornix. And then when you go more lateral to the eyes, you have, of course, the hair that is coming from top and the hair that is from here from the beard. So it's kind of like the white matter coming, like it's forming the internal capsule. So we will imagine this like the internal capsule being formed here, right? And this is your internal capsule being formed on the other side as well. Right, so the other side we have the internal capsule as well. And then very lateral, you have the ears, and these ears will represent our another nucleus or the gray matter, which is the lentiform nucleus, right? The lentiform nucleus and the globus pallidus, two parts as well. So, and then you go on behind the ears, you have the external capsule, the claustrum, the extreme capsule. Just imagine, right? Very under the nose, you have the mouth, which is the hypothalamus. Very under the nose, you have the eyes, the mouth. And if you make the mouth in this shape, it will be the hypothalamus and pituitary, the pituitary stalk or the pituitary glands attached to it. And of course, you need the bed for the thalamus, which is the subthalamic nuclei here, the subthalamus, right? And somewhere here, substantia nigra. So this monster should remind you all the cortical structures, right? Yeah, that's how I remember. I hope it will help you to remember as well. If you want to make it more clear, let's say the mouth is here and this structure is kind of the mouth and everything. Okay, so thank you for watching. Bye.